Good evening, I'm Monica Mitchell. Today I'm going to be doing a presentation on cultural anthropology project solutions for the Rastafarian culture. I have a table of content. My table of content is include introduction, cultural backgrounds, description of health problem, cultural health barriers, limitations, and risk assessment, project goals and objectives, public health intervention strategies, public program outcome evaluation, project budget, fact sheet, cultural solutions, conclusion, and references. So my first slide is the introduction. For the introduction, I have every culture is unique, the different perspective, variation in cultural values, system, belief, practices, etc. Cultural barriers and risks hamper policy implementations. Discuss the Rastafarian culture. My second slide talks about the cultural background. Rastafarian culture established in 1930s as a religious and political movement. The emperor is Haile Selassie, and they view him as a divine figure. The carnivals as a sacred religious practice. And also talking about Jamaica having two major languages, English and Jamaica Patois. The next slide talk about more of the cultural background, talking about the food, the music, etc. And then we'll talk about health description, the description of health problem, the kind of health description that they have. The lack of trust for Western conventional medication, divine health, dental health problem, that is cavity and gingivitis, prefer use of traditional herbs, which is example cannabis, prevalence use of tobacco in Jamaica amongst the youth. Description of health problem continues. We have untreated oral disease, causes deciduous teeth problem. Talking about age ranging from age 1 year to 9 years. Untreated, if it's not treated for maybe for 5 years, it causes cardiac permanent teeth decay. We also look at and also if it goes further, you're looking at lip and oral cavity cancer. And then another part of the slide we talk about the population of age 15 to older that is using the use of tobaccos among them. Our next slide is the cultural health barriers, limitation, and risk assessment. Resistance to traditional government rules, demand to decriminalize the use of marijuana, that is for the Rastafarians, dependent on herb for medical treatment, distrust for Western medicine, example the COVID-19 vaccine. Then we look at the project goals. The project goals and objective. We have encourage the values of cultural diversity, restore trust in the use of Western medication, advocate for better relationship between government and Rastafarian movement, discuss the pros and cons for herb treatment, remove stereotype of the Rastafarian culture. Um, then we have our next slide is the public health intervention strategy. The public health intervention strategy, we have primary and secondary strategies. So we're looking at engage all stakeholders, that is cultural group representatives, government, civil society, organization, etc. Create partnership with Rastafarian movement, validate the contribution of the Rastafarian movement, advocate for rights and protection of all cultural groups, partner with health ministry and local health professionals, promote the benefits of life-saving medication, which is very important. The next slide is the cultural program outcome evaluation, what we expect to come from all of this program. Respond to Western conventional medication, minimize and avoid herbs that pose greater health risks, assess relationship with Rastafarian and other cultures, behavior to government programs, reaction to cultural diversity, values, beliefs, and practices. The next one, we're going to be looking at the cultural solutions. What solution we're going to have. And here we're going to be looking at the cultural solution is the results of this program. The impact of the project, its desired goal is to transform the behavior of the Rastafarian culture, bring awareness about the values and beliefs and practices of the Rastafarian community. At this point, the successful implementation of this project is for all stakeholders to come together, respect the opinion of everyone, and celebrate their cultural differences. In addition, important aspect of this project is to ensure that the health condition of Rastafarians are tremendously improved. Moreover, the Rastafarians have unique cultural identity. These cultural identities include the food, dress code, music, reggae, religious beliefs, and value systems. And then we're going to be looking at the budget of this project. The project is a 3 month project. So we set a budget of about $10,000 grant received from the Liberty University Health Medical team to reach the Rastafarian culture and bridge the gap amongst the various cultural groups and institutions within Jamaica. The project has an estimated timeline of 3 months for completion, so there are several relevant costs associated with the execution of this project of this budget. For example, there's a payment of honorary for consultancy, voluntary service, as well as purchase for logistics, food for project program participants. Of course, the logistics are key, including the purchase of supplies, the printing of materials, transportation, publicity for adequate awareness to the general public as well as Rastafarian culture. And the next thing is our fact sheet. The fact sheet will provide a summary of key elements of key elements of the Rastafarian movement. Also, it discusses the historical background about the origin of the Rastafarian culture and its founder, the late Haile Selassie of Ethiopia in the early 1930s. The fact sheet display the cultural attributes that distinguishes Rastafarian from other cultural groups and movements across the world. However, the document points out many challenges that the Rastafarian face, especially with their cultural health barriers and limitations. Nevertheless, the document provides intervention strategies that are needed for Rastafarians to overcome these challenges. Finally, the fact sheet shows the result of these intervention strategies by highlighting the project budget, outcome, and solution. Therefore, this fact sheet is helpful resource for execution for the project. Then we have our conclusion. In conclusion, all the years the Rastafarian movement experienced several cultural health barriers, limitations, and risks. So they refuse to use conventional Western medication because of the lack of trust. Some of the health barriers include health inequality, stigmatization, resistance to the Jamaican government, lack of culture and religious tolerance by others, and religious tolerance by others, and also by others, and social isolation among others. Therefore, this project is focused on breaking the stigma and bridging the gap. Thank you.